somewhere else. The other thing that is cool to mention too, in addition to the awards that the juries determine, and that varies every year because we don't have a minimum or maximum number of trophies, so the juries make the decision.
Oh, wonderful.
They're really evaluating every entry on its own creative merits. It's solely about creativity, so it's like, what's the idea here? Is it innovative? Is this something I wish my team worked on? Does this help push the space forward? So we have those awards, and then we also do honorary awards. So that is where, we're just trying to highlight somebody, whether it's an executive or an artist or somebody that's done some really cool work. So last year, we didn't do a show in January this year because of the fires. Everything got
that was
put
respectful not to anyway.
And we donated some money to Music Cares. But 2 years ago when we did the show in January in LA, we honored Pearl Jam and Ozzy. So we're doing this podcast right after Ozzy's passing.
Death of Ozzy. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was ever going to happen.
But
it's
it
like
was
a Keith Richards figure.
Ozzy was going to come and accept and then was not able to do it that night, but they called and had Tom Morello come from Rage.
Cool.
And Tom did the most amazing speech, like accepting on behalf of Ozzy, which was cool.
He's very well spoken.
And then Jeff from Pearl Jam came to accept their award, which we gave them not only for gig posters, they had submitted a lot of great gig posters that were recognized, but also for their philanthropic work because they do a lot of really cool stuff like on that level. But one of the favorite pictures I have that, we all have sort of those moments in our career that you're like, this is why I do it. There's this great picture of Jeff from Pearl Jam with Tom Morello holding a Clio together.
Oh, that's killer.
So, that's the one I'm like, and our Sheena, who runs our PR, took the photo, and I'm like, this is
put it in the brochure.
This is the one.
It's going on the website.
But so we're working on some of the honorary stuff for this year as well.
Fantastic.
And always trying to keep in mind like milestones.
Of course,
what's happening. Spinal Tap's coming.
Sure,
Tap 2.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, how do you want to speak to the industry? I guess do you feel like the Clios are well known? That within the music business specifically, or?
Yeah, I think it's still growing. I think most of us have heard of the Clios in some fashion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I know that. I don't think most people necessarily know we have programs in different industries, including music.
I did not know.
So I think that continues to be something that people are becoming aware of. But I think that for me, the takeaway is always like, we're all doing interesting work. We're all trying to do really interesting work, and there's always stuff that I do, that you do, that you do, that you do, that you do, that you're like, this is the stuff I can't stop talking about. I love this. And that's the stuff you really need to submit to something like the Clios, because you're being recognized for the creative work that gives you goosebumps, that makes you like laugh and cry, and whether it's music in an ad or whether it's a cool campaign for an artist or a gig poster. So I just encourage people to think about what are the things that you've done the past year and a half that you can't stop talking about.
That's fantastic.
That's a great way to gauge it.
Because there always is like everybody's got something. You're like, this is a thing. Maybe it didn't achieve everything you wanted, but you're like, what a great idea this was, right?
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it maybe didn't change the sway of the industry, but it was so creative.
And it's cool to see the work that comes in, because obviously there's major label stuff. We get work submitted by publishers, a lot of agencies, brands, but there's also individual artists that submit stuff. And I remember this campaign, one of my first years, it was an artist from Belgium. He did a campaign where he went on tour in Europe and he played venues like Madison Square Garden, but it was like Madison Square Garden coffee shop.
Yeah.
And he did this whole tour with like, and it's like, what a simple,
That's
cool
amazing.
idea.
And where Albert Hall laundromat.
Exactly. So that was
amazing.
That was recognized. So, it just kind of, to
I
me,
love that.
comes
Radio
back
City
to like,
Donuts.
Great ideas. Right.
But he could, on his tour dates, he could actually say Radio City. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Oh, wow.
I love that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cause-based stuff that is so powerful. I mean, in all our programs, I think if you haven't really ever seen the Clios or thought about it, you can go on Clios.com and you can look at each of the individual programs. And if you do nothing else, like go to the winners gallery, look at winning work.
I'm going to. That's
not just in music, but look in sports, look in health, look in all the programs. To Clio Health about about a month ago, we had the show. I was here in New York. And one of the things we're trying to do as a team is integrate music into our shows.
Awesome.
We gave an honorary Clio to Lil Jon. And most people don't realize, but he's done all this stuff for health. He's really focused on creating awareness about colon cancer in the Black community,
right?
getting people to get tested.
Okay.
He's got a meditation album.
Wow.
So
I did not know that.
We
That's
gave
fantastic.
him a Clio on stage at that show. But the one thing I wanted to mention is because, like, you see these ideas and you're like, oh my gosh, what a great idea. It inspires you to think of ideas. But with the dog here, the one that comes to mind in Clio Health that I just has stayed with me, they did a campaign in Peru right on one of the fault lines for earthquakes. And they realized, which I think we all sort of have a sense of, that animals tend to detect these things early.
Absolutely.
So they created some sort of collar and they put it on animals and then tracked that they could then determine if there was some collective movement that there could be an earthquake coming.
That's
and that
fantastic.
Was like, you watch that and you're like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a simple
How do you organize
idea.
the dogs?
Brilliant.
No, that's actually fantastic though. Is using nature to actually notify us.
So anyway,
That's
looking
fantastic.
at the winning work in all the programs is cool. It can
That's
be
amazing.
really
That's
inspiring.
amazing.
Suddenly the dog woke up the second we
Suddenly,
talked about
Yeah,
it.
no, she's been chilling over there for a minute.
Plus, the other thing about the winning gallery work is you can click through and you can see the credits. So you see who worked on it, which I think is useful for all of us.
Absolutely.
Thinking about who do you want to work with, and
Yeah.
you see somebody did something cool at a label or agency or brand or something. It gives you a way to maybe reach out.
That's
and say,
fantastic. We're going to do
Love
that.
what you know.
Clios.com. Clios.com.
Clios.com. That's right.
Clios.com,
Awesome.
got it.
Yeah, the
I mean,
Clio
I've
Awards
seen you all
thing,
over
so-
LinkedIn talking about it for ages, and I was like,
Yeah.
how
We
do I
need to know more.
Did you guys do? Where has it always been in the U.S.? Like, has like everything always?
Well, everything's global as far as the entries. The Clios have predominantly had U.S. shows. I don't know that they've done a show in another country. And similarly, the other programs, all the award shows are in the U.S., but it's all global work.
Got it.
One thing that happens globally is the main Clio show will have judging somewhere that the jury goes to. They want it to be remote, so you have to focus on the work and you're not distracted. With programs like music, we'll do the judging in New York, sometimes a little bit in LA.
Got it. Okay.
That's great. And for submissions and whatnot, like, are there any key dates that people need to?
Yeah, we have. Well, our final deadline for entries is October 3rd, so there's a bit of time depending when this.
Get your portfolio
streams.
together, Joel.
That's right.
Exactly right.
We do have a series of deadlines leading up to that. One of which is in August, which might be before or after this airs. But the entry fees increase slightly through the deadlines. But I would tell anybody that's watching, reach out to me, and I really want to try to find ways to help people enter because I think winning a Clio. It's a piece of history. You are being recognized with something that Don Draper had a Clio.
Right.
And the cool thing for all of us music junkies too, every year when something wins, I remember I think 3 years ago we had a bunch of box sets submitted, and we had winners from Al Green, John Coltrane, and Keith Richards.
Very cool.
And I love just thinking, Keith Richards, Al Green, and Coltrane get Clios. It went to the teams that submitted, but
That's still pretty
it's cool to see that. So it really transcends any kind of music, any type of genre,
Genreless,
anywhere in the world.
Amazing.
Yeah. So Frank, the dog's name is Frankie, named after Sinatra. Sinatra is listed in the credits of a Clio winning piece.
Oh, is that right?
From a couple of years. I think it was a Jeter. Gatorade thing maybe where he was retiring. It was an ad that won in either Clio Sports or the main Clio.
Okay.
And Frank Sinatra was listed because they used like New York.
Oh, okay.
So
like, how do anybody reach you if they want to learn about your dog art or you're submitting?
I'm fairly easy to find. Last name Kauffman, Michael Kauffman. You can reach out on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Michael.Kauffman at ClioAwards.com.
Okay.
On Instagram, I use my middle name, Joel, Michael Joel.
Hey.
All right. Hey.
I thought that was important to bring up.
That's good.
I love it.
That was my DJ name. So the one thing, though, I wanted to mention that ties to all of our worlds.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a small town called Lititz, Lititz, old Moravian community from 1700s.
Moravians.
And back in the 60s, these two brothers started fooling around with sound equipment, and this was in an era when every artist would use whatever was at the venue when they would tour, and a lot of times it was crappy sound. So these guys got a call one day. There was a band playing at Franklin and Marshall College in Lancaster, and they hated the sound system, and brothers got a call, and they're like, "Hey, can you come and help because the band wants somebody to help. This was Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
Wow.
So these guys went, they helped. The band was like, you guys are amazing. Why don't you come on the road? Started this sound company called Claire Brothers, and Claire Audio, Claire Global is now the biggest sound company in the world, and they're
so
based
cool.
in Lidditz.
Wow.
But the really interesting thing is they've built this complex there called Rock Lidditz, which
Okay.
you can look up, ROCKLITITZ.com.
All right.
They have these airline hangar-sized buildings that artists come to rehearse before they go on the road.
Really? Wow.
So all the companies in the live music space have offices there. It's like Tate Towers, Atomic. So they'll have the lighting, the stage, whatever the band is using, so you can rehearse on the stage.
That is so cool.
And 2 weeks ago, I'm watching CBS Sunday Morning, and they're interviewing Sabrina Carpenter, and she's walking down the road in Lidditz by
Really?
Rock Lidditz. And
Wow.
a month ago, Post Malone was there, and he goes to the coffee place, and everybody loses their mind. And,
Right.
That's
you know,
right.
Right?
That's right.
That's right,
Frankie's
Frankie.
staring at
Frankie's
me.
staring us down right now.
I
Thank you.
know.
All right, ready?
Thank you so much for coming by today, man.
Wow,
Really
I-
appreciate
Hey,
it.
Yeah,
I'm a
this was
fan
cool,
of,
man.
of what you guys do.
Thank
you guys
you.
have
Likewise.
such like tentacles and a lot of different things. And
Appreciate it.
You know, kudos on. It's nice to like sit on a nice couch. It's a
Yeah.
nice
It's not a nice couch.
Not a nice
Yeah, it's comfy.
It is a couch.
It's nice.
It is a
in the
couch.
Comfortable
We
sense.
talk
Being
about
held
this
together
couch
by
all the
tape,
time.
and love.
We will
That's right.
auction this couch off at the end of the season.
So Clios.com/music. It's just a one sheet that has info on it.
Amazing.
So thank you, Lee.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Good
All
meeting.
right, yay.
Frankie, thank you.
Woo, woo, woo. I love you.
All right.